I've heard, and this one I feel comfortable saying, yeah, you can go write headlines about this if you want. They're planning a state of play, or maybe a showcase, but probably a state of play for the end of September or before the end of September.
Where is he? Tell me where he is! Tell me where!
We are so back, Spidey Squad, and not a moment too soon. But anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you spectacular Spidey fans out there, to another very exciting Marvel Games related video. And please believe me when I say that no, I am not dead, and I haven't forgotten the password to access my channel.
No!
I know I've been gone from pretty much posting any full-length videos on YouTube for essentially a full month at this point, but that is once again due to the fact that I have been insanely busy within the Disney College program. And if we're being quite honest here, there hasn't been any major updates pertaining to any of the massive upcoming AAA Marvel games. That is until now. So if you're someone like me who's still beyond hyped to see what the future of Marvel games has in store, then definitely be sure to thwip that like button and subscribe to the channel for even more Marvel games videos like this down the line. So as you saw from this video's intro, is that we finally got some insanely reliable gaming industry insider information, is that we will potentially be seeing a brand new PlayStation related event, either with the likes of a PlayStation showcase or a much more common PlayStation state of play sometime within the upcoming month of September. Now, if you have seen some of my previous videos about this topic, is that there have been quite a lot of rumors from different gaming industry insiders claiming the exact same thing. But the primary factor that makes this claim different in comparison to the others is that we finally heard this statement from the man himself, none other than Jeff Grubb, who, if you're someone who doesn't know who he is, who I have already covered on the channel quite a lot of times in the past, is that not only is Jeff Grubb an extremely reliable gaming industry insider, but almost every single time that he is reported on any news pertaining to PlayStation, he pretty much has a 99.9% accuracy streak, which specifically makes this particular PlayStation event all the more interesting. Now, there are obviously a ton of different first-party studios games that we could see be unveiled during this potential PlayStation event. But as I'm sure you all know me at this point, and what this channel primarily talks about, is that this potential PlayStation event would hands down be the most perfect time to finally receive some updates about anything that is currently in development within Insomniac Games. And in this case, the Copium train is riding full steam ahead yet again, in which we could finally see the reveal of a AAA standalone Venom spin-off game. Where, if you have seen some of my previous videos, is that the current rumor about this Venom game possibly existing indicated that we were going to see it be officially revealed sometime this year in 2025, followed by a possible fall release window in 2026, where it was also claimed that this rumored Venom game was going to be a bigger sized experience than what we previously saw with Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, but also a smaller sized game in comparison to Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And again, I've already thoroughly discussed on several previous occasions on how exactly Insomniac could make this Venom game, and why it would likely be a much easier experience for the studio to make in a shorter time span in comparison to their other upcoming Marvel game with that of Marvel's Wolverine. And to sadly burst the bubble of any diehard Wolverine fans out there, Jeff Grubb did take the time during that same exact video as to what games he thinks could appear during this PlayStation showcase. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that he thinks Marvel's Wolverine would be one of those titles.
I think that, like, for people's expectations for Sony, I think it's probably stick with status quo with the hopes that, you know, Wolverine gets announced or reintroduced here again at some point. I wouldn't expect that for the direct or for the state of play. that would be coming in September. Feels like still too early for that.
Which now brings us back to the case of Venom. Even if this PlayStation event ends up being a smaller scale state of play in comparison to a much larger scope PlayStation showcase, that doesn't seem like it would affect any type of major release that could be unveiled during the event itself. Considering that some of the previous PlayStation state of plays that we saw during the summer didn't hold back in the slightest. With the final game that they revealed during the June state of play ended up being a brand new AAA Marvel fighting game with that of Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, as well as an entire state of play in July fully dedicated showcasing gameplay of Sucker Punch's upcoming Ghost of Yotei. And speaking of which, by the time this video is uploaded, we are going to be seeing some brand new footage of Ghost of Yotei later on today during the opening night live ceremony for Gamescom in Germany, hosted by none other than Jeff Keighley. So at the very least, considering that we already know that Ghost of Yotei is another major first-party PlayStation game which is planning on launching in October of this year, I don't think we would see another upcoming state of play be fully dedicated to showcasing even more in-depth gameplay footage of that title. But if anything, I could see a potential launch trailer being debuted for Ghost of Yotei during some point within this PlayStation event. Although, I don't think that would end up being the final game reveal. If every single one of these continuous rumor buildups for this potential Marvel's Venom game turns out to be true, then I definitely think that it would make sense for Insomniac, Marvel, and especially PlayStation to end up revealing this first-party game during their own individual hosted event, rather than showing up at a third-party event like Gamescom or even the Game Awards, which will be taking place later this year in December. Not to mention that the overall hype for Spider-Man as a whole is currently at an all-time high, primarily in thanks to all the latest set photos and videos that we received for the upcoming MCU film Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is currently planning to release later on next year in 2026. And similar to how Spider-Man PS4 pretty much released within the peak of the Spider-Man era in 2018 alongside other Spidey projects like Avengers Infinity War, the standalone Venom Sony movie, as well as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was also then replicated in 2023 with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 releasing only a few months after the launch of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I can easily and logically see a scheduled planned release from Insomniac Games for this potential Venom spin-off game to release shortly after the launch of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which again, I haven't seen this much hype surrounding an upcoming Spider-Man movie in quite a long time. So if by some miracle that we're not only lucky enough to see Spider-Man Brand New Day release and be an excellent Spider-Man movie, but following that up with a standalone Venom game to continue on with an Insomniac Spider-Man universe, that would simply be pure marketing synergy genius from everyone over at Marvel, Insomniac, and especially Sony. But as always, we can only end up keeping our fingers crossed that that dream will end up becoming a reality.
No, I'm just going to do my best, hopefully get it right. No pressure.
No pressure, right?
And with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for all you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. For me personally, the Venom game copium will continue to live on within me until Insomniac, Marvel, or PlayStation themselves officially confirms that this game doesn't exist. But in the meantime, alongside of this potential Marvel's Venom game, what other PlayStation title would you like to see be revealed during this rumored PlayStation event? And would you want it to be either that of a PlayStation showcase or a PlayStation state of play? Let me know what you think, be sure to leave a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel Games videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, stay spectacular Spidey fans, and without further ado, peace out.